Hello, friends. This is Professor Googlon. On my channel, you mostly watch videos about the beautiful world around us. But today, it's a little different. What is it about? Keep watching to find out. Time to take out the trash. As weird as it sounds, these guys really lucked out when they were in prison. And the way they lost it all will make you laugh. On a fateful day in 2018, Shane Joe Sape and Willie Ames Driver were sent to clean up trash at the Houston County Jail in Georgia. That's when they saw the perfect opportunity for an escape. The two men were taking the trash outside the prison walls, putting the bags in a large trash can where they would later be picked up by garbage trucks. They were being watched by a prison guard who was supposed to make sure that the guys did their job and came back. For some reason, the guard decided to give the two prisoners some leeway. As soon as he was distracted, the prisoners escaped. CCTV footage shows the men fleeing. They had finally gotten a taste of the freedom they craved. At the same time, the guard called for reinforcements. You probably thought these guys were smart enough to not stand out and just keep running as far away as possible. But for some reason, they decided otherwise. A few days later, Driver was found in a nearby apartment. He was tracked by his cell phone number. As for Sape, he was found a few hours later in a shed about 4 kilometers from the prison. They both eventually returned to jail, where they had to serve additional time as punishment. Escape on the move. In December 2021, a man being transported to a prison in Brazil escaped directly from a police car. It seems to have been his last desperate attempt to break free. The guy was caught on camera literally jumping out of the police car on his way to jail. Where was he being taken? Most likely to be processed and then incarcerated. What's particularly impressive is that his hands were tied and the car was traveling on a concrete road. Despite the obvious insanity and potential danger, the guy threw himself out of the car and bounced away. We don't think the cops who were driving him noticed that he jumped out, because the car kept going. Yes, imagine the look of genuine shock on the guards' faces when they reached the prison and discovered that there was no one in the back seat. According to additional evidence, the daredevil managed to open the back door of the car with a card. He then jumped out right in the middle of the street and afterward ran toward the hills. No one knows if the guy was caught again and sent to jail or not, but considering how bravely he ran, it's unlikely he had any desire to go back there. Flight escape. Remember the 1975 movie, Escape, where a prisoner was rescued by helicopter? Well, the following story is partially inspired by a scene from the movie. It's worth noting that it's a pretty witty idea. In 2013, a 41-year-old man named Benjamin Houdin Barbeau escaped from the Saint Jerome Detention Center in Quebec. He and his accomplices hijacked a helicopter. The story shocked the world. The escape was organized by Barbeau and his cellmate Danny Provençal. It is not known whether the two men met before prison or while in prison. Either way, they became prison friends and planned an escape together. On the fateful day, the accomplices hijacked a helicopter outside the prison grounds and descended to the roof to pick up Barbeau and Provençal. Both men climbed up a rope and escaped to freedom. You can see the helicopter hijacked by two armed men posing as tourists. They landed on the roof of the correctional facility and within minutes of doing so. The operation was expected to go fairly smoothly. The two prisoners allegedly took about 6 minutes to climb the rope. One can only wonder why the guards did not shoot and detain them. After a few minutes, the accomplices decided to just fly on, while Barbeau and Provençal literally began clinging to their lives. Interestingly, they were all caught just a few hours after the escape. 2 of the men, along with their accomplices, were detained. Authorities confirmed that the kidnapped pilot was found unharmed. On alert. Given how hard it is to get out of prison, it's not surprising that people who do decide to do so spend a lot of time working out a clear plan. After all, if you get caught, it's game over. So, in 1995, a group of prisoners decided to take it easy and just use good old-fashioned brute force. The incident that attracted national attention took place at Vrids-Lasalille prison in Copenhagen, Denmark. A 7-meter-high fortress wall separated the prison yard from the main road, so once the wall was broken, it was almost the best time for the prisoners to escape. According to reports, the operation was actually planned by inmates of the prison and a former inmate who had already escaped earlier. It is said to have been well thought out. The former inmate drove the bulldozer and coordinated with the inmates inside using cell phones thrown over the wall. At the end of the day, 12 prisoners, 9 robbers, 3 smugglers were able to break free. Larson and a crowd of other inmates tore through a gaping hole in the prison wall. A nationwide manhunt was eventually launched, and all 12 escaped inmates were captured less than a month after the incident. We have to capture it all. Well, this next escape is really going to amaze you. Normally, the only thing prisoners worry about during an escape is making sure everything goes smoothly and they don't get caught. But for the guys who escaped from the Orange County Jail, the whole process was apparently so easy that they even managed to film it. In January 2016, 3 prisoners escaped from a maximum security prison. Breaking out of such a place is very difficult, but these guys made a full-length movie showing the whole process, from planning to the escape itself. According to reports, the 3 prisoners, Jose Neri T. and Wuong and Jonathan Tu, faced some serious charges but were not convicted and were in prison awaiting trial. Instead of waiting for their fate, the boys decided to seek early release. Their footage shows almost everything from sawing off a radiator to rappelling down the shaft and going through the piping system. The 3 escapees eluded police for about a week before they were caught. Local authorities even decided to increase funding for the prison system in response to the escape. Well, we guess it's a blessing in disguise. Think fast, act even faster. Sometimes you don't have to plan everything in advance if you want to get away. Sometimes you just need a little luck. In the case of Michael Maldonado, it also took speed. Maldonado, 25, was being transferred to the Porter County Jail in 2018. That's when he saw an opportunity to escape. According to traffic camera footage, the police car that was bringing him in had already stopped in the jail's interior parking lot, but as soon as the officer got out of the car, Maldonado saw the officer through the window and instantly jumped out of the car. The prisoner made several escape attempts that day, none of which were successful. Almost in prison, he got another chance. We think we have a real example of perseverance here. As you might expect, it took some time to open the garage door, so the police had to give the criminal a bit of a head start. Maldonado was able to escape into the mountains, but was caught the very next day. I guess they're keeping a closer eye on him now. Mom knows best. Once in prison, it's helpful to have someone on the outside who can help you escape. Derek Edsel decided that the best team is Mom. In 2013, Derek already had a pretty scandalous record, being incarcerated in the old Garland County Jail in Florida. But the guy decided he'd had enough and wanted to get out. He devised an ingenious plan that involved his mother Glenda and his girlfriend Tamara Lynn Upshaw. The plan was simple. Derek was to stay close to the small window leading from the jail to the waiting room. A 4th accomplice would distract the watching officer, while Tamara Lynn would be ready to pick him up in a car. The surveillance footage turned out to be epic. We think Derek should be commended for being able to squeeze through such a small window so quickly. Houdini would be proud of him. Unfortunately, or fortunately, the story ended rather quickly. Glenda, Derek's mother, was arrested after the discovery of phone records and correspondence in which she discussed the escape with her son. About a month after the escape, Derek himself was taken back into custody. Friends, don't hesitate to write comments under the video about what else you would like to learn. I will definitely fulfill your wish. Bye for now.